Eubank Jr., as we said, looked like Fraser. He's like,
By the end, he turned into Fraser Clark. His
his
head,
face just got into it. It's like,
his head had swelled. So this weekend we saw Eubank, Benn, big, massive fight. Obviously, only one winner. I'm going to put my cards on the table. At no point did I want Conor Benn to win that fight. Let's just be. I'm getting that out there now.
yeah.
At no point. So I'm not going to be completely unbiased here. But I just thought
Well,
cards on table.
yeah, at risk of this being an echo chamber, as you know, I fully agree with that. It's which is mad that Ben's gone from being. I really liked Ben when he first came on the scene, the skinny little kid. And in the run up to the first fight, I think I was probably. And I've never really been a hater of Eubank because I liked Senior, as he's now called.
I love that his name, like a Brazilian footballer, is not Chris
Yeah,
Eubank anymore.
just
Senior,
retired it.
just
Just
senior.
Senior. He wears it well, doesn't he? As well as he wears his bear coat.
I would like to see anytime he's on any interview or anything, and they just drop a name at the bottom. I just want Senior there. Like,
Yeah.
so
I,
good.
yeah, I kind of regret not naming my son after me, so I could, yeah, yeah, graduate to being just known as Senior.
What I noticed in the boxing press, right, is everyone goes, "Oh, nobody likes Ben because of the failed drugs test," but I don't think that's it. I think it's the way he's dealt with it afterwards. That's it. It's not like there's loads of fighters have failed drug tests and
Yeah,
sort of
that was the genesis, but he's really handled it badly. Like you've got ways you can handle it where like Canelo, where you just I didn't know.
I mean, that's what you do. That is the way to do it. You just go, "I ate a squirrel" or something like that.
Well, exactly. It's my team. I'd throw the team under the bus, but the egg shit. He got stuck in a lie, and it's just and and then he's just come across like a complete bellend ever since. I mean, the interview with Piers Morgan he did. If you come off worse than an interview with Piers, it's like him and Ronaldo have managed to make it more relatable. So, yeah, he's lost the hearts and minds of people, and I think as playground as it was, Eubank Jr. slapping him with an egg was. I mean, it was hilarious. It sold the fight in a way that, so more of your casual. It elevated the fight in a really trashy way.
It was so dirty as well the way he did it. It was the way he did it. When you watch it and you go back, you're like Eubank's like you can't hear him, so he sort of ducks down and he goes, "Oh, like he's getting like that," and then he goes for the other ear, so he's kind of dodging around like that, and then
he's getting his angle, isn't it? It's really sneaky, but then it was like it was just like excellent. It was the tweets about it afterwards. But I think oddly endeared Eubank Jr. And I think the way he's dealt with Eddie Hearn in the build up and
Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, now I used to think Eddie Hearn was all right.
Yeah.
I can't bear the guy now. He's like just don't go near Conor Benn because he drag you down with him.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's tried to do.
You can't beat Eubank. You just can't beat
No,
him.
you can't. And the fact he tried to, is and he can say that. So he tried to bring on his other guy, Frank Smith, is that it? The other guy.
Yeah.
But that's not beating him. That's just admitting,
Yeah, you beat him there.
One.
What I thought was interesting is I thought Eubank had Ben and everybody around him pants down for the entire way up to the fight until that weigh-in where he was like 2 teaspoons of sugar over the weight limit or whatever. And then it was like, as Ben has finally sort of got his vengeance a little bit there. But I'm starting to wonder whether that was also a piss take now.
I am because the whole sweating, all the videos he put on Twitter showing the pain he's going through, which teed up the press conference where he did the what is pain and talked about his nephew and talked about his dad and all of that, and that kind of
Senior.
Yeah, sorry, senior. My hairs are going up now, just thinking about it, because that was quite moving, and it really, humanised Chris Eubank Senior in more of a way than it's generally done. And even Ben was just like, it starts, because he started off thinking, what is pain? And Ben's like, and in fairness, this is where Ben, I think, did talk most of the country. Oh, come on. It's like, what is pain? He feels to start philosophizing. But he starts talking about some serious shit. You're like, okay.
You can't go back on that, can you? When he's
No,
talking
exactly.
about when he's talking about his dead brother's sob.
Exactly. And raising his son, and son can't, and your own dad thinks you're a disgrace. You're like, okay, yeah, probably losing a bit of weight. It's not that painful. Getting someone who's 2 weights smaller than you's not going to be that painful. So yeah, I think he did. He set it all up. Everything was for him, and then again, the fight build up was the undercard. Not really going to cover other than Liam Smith became an old man overnight. That was the text.
Yeah, I was wondering. The only thing we're not going to talk about the undercard, Rick, but the only thing I wondered whether did that tiny ring just screw the whole card up?
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, potentially. No, because you've just got to go at it, or
just no.
Isn't everyone's fight? Isn't it?
It was all quite boring. I mean, I only actually watched live Chris Billam-Smith, which was just a really, really boring fight.
Yeah. I watched McKenna Smith or Smith McKenna, whichever way it is. It was just, I mean, Liam Smith looks old anyway.
He does not look like a boxer, Liam Smith.
Oh no, he looks like a Scouser.
He looks like a Scouser. He looks like he'd do a decent manual labour job to me. Decent job. Well, he'd do an all right job.
He'd take up a lot of your time, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd be up and down with teas. But anyway, the classic boxing concept became an old man overnight. But I wonder if that started in the junior fight. But anyway, the most interesting part of the build-up fight was when the lift opened.
Is that when
Senior emerged?
I actually hadn't got the stream on at that point, right? So
I
was actually listening to a watch along, and they were like, "Senior's here." So I put it on, but I wasn't sure if it was the car or the lift that was. It depends who you watched it on, because I watched Sky. I don't know whether you watched DAZN or Sky.
Yeah, Sky was the lift. I don't know what it was on DAZN, but I can't remember who it was, maybe Gareth A. Davis talking about it, saying that in the stadium they saw him in the car, but they weren't sure whether it was live. It was just on the big screen. It's like, what is that? And then for lift. But I was around the mates. His wife was away, so he's classic of babysitting. Not babysitting, you're just at home with your kid. So his baby was 2 in bed, just got him down. He's in the other room grabbing a beer, and I'm watching Smith McKenna, and so this is Smith's done. And then it just cut to Senior coming out, and I'm like, whoa! And he's like, his son starts crying, and he thinks that Smith's landed a punch from the gods.
The 2-year-old were emotional as well about it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It touched everyone. But yeah, it was that the fight.
But then the best thing about that was obviously everyone went ballistic. It was the commentary went ballistic. The crowd went ballistic. But then the cut to the Benns watching him arrive on screen was just unbelievable. It was like I felt like that moment was, we got a little tiny one up on Eubank over the weight. He has just taken every pair of pants we were going to put on for the rest of the year off.
Sledgehammer to an ant, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah.
It was because the way it was shot from behind them as well. That scene in, was it Ferris Bueller's Day Off, whereas that cover of the Smiths playing and he's just staring at the painting.
Yeah.
That shot from behind. You were just sort of staring like, oh. And like, oh God.
But then and then the ring walks as well, because he absolutely did him over on the ring walk as well, didn't he? He really did.
I mean, I quite like Conor Benn's walkout.
It was a good walk. It was a good walkout, but it's
BWE. Oh, I don't. The grime rapper and legend, and it's that tune, which is, obviously I'm a massive grime fan, so I saw that, and I was like, that's quite good. But then we were messaging, we say like, imagine if he comes out to Simply the Best. And I was saying no, because Eubank Jr.'s always been all in on Steel Dre. I mean,
yeah.
He both of them. And when he came out, we were just like, That's simply the
And
best.
it took him an age. I mean, when they cut to him, he was still having a drink, wasn't he? He was still having a drink, and you knew. But Conor Benn must have known then. This is 15 minutes. This 15 minutes before he gets in the ring.
Well, he just started. I mean, Eubank Junior again, going back from the egg to uh, not letting Eddie Hearn talk. Everything was about being in his control, wasn't it? And you kind of start realizing, like, or I'm not letting Billy Joe Saunders in.
That was good. We've not talked about that. Billy Joe Saunders. He's got to be heavyweight at the moment. He is so fat.
15 stone. He's 15 stone.
The roll. He said 15. No way is he 15 stone. He's got the rolls on the back of his neck were humongous.
Impressive. Yeah, when
when Billy Joe Saunders was trying to get in, right, into the dressing room, and I'm like, look at that guy. He ain't getting in. Look at the size of that guy he's trying to get past. And I'm thinking, Eubank Junior's got he's got a good security. That's his manager.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't. And then I heard it afterwards. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but it's a name that's like that befits a man of that size.
Napa. They call him Napa.
Yeah. You've got a nickname, basically, just like Napa. And not many managers have that, but not many managers are that size. So.
Well, I found the commentary a bit bizarre where they were going, it doesn't seem like he's going to let Billy Joe Saunders in. Who would let Billy Joe Saunders in? Like, what on earth?
It was brilliant trolling, but also it's just classic of, because wasn't it on the press conference? I don't know the name of the guy who was like emceeing the press conference, guy from the Zone. He mentioned it, and Conor Benn was like, "Oh yeah, that was going to be a surprise." So yeah, so he completely played it, and Eubank Junior just straight away like, "Well, that's not going to happen." I mean, even if he showed up anyway as a surprise, he weren't going in.
No, not a chance. Yeah,
starting to consider it, didn't they?
I mean, I can't believe that like anyone would let that happen. Just Billy Joe, of all people, Billy Joe Saunders going in. I was thinking when the sort of rumor broke, I was like, who could Eubank send to watch Ben's hands getting wrapped? It's not a guy in an egg suit. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah, that's where my head's going straight away. Like, I know the Easter Bunny or something. Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to be some trolling like that. Some trolling. But it was quite funny, the fact they tried to get Billy Joe Saunders in there. But yeah, and then the senior coming out was just in the ring as well.
In his jacket as well. I mean, he must have been burning up.
Yeah,
he must have been red hot.
Yeah, but he carries it, doesn't he? He carries. Have you seen the video of him talking about the coat?
No, I've not. I've not seen that.
So.
Of Senior talking about his coat?
Yeah, I think it's an old one. He's talking about it being a bear. He walks around wearing a bear. Because there was there was a bear doing an impersonation of him. And I kind of like just checked out that point. I was like, okay, he's even by his own standards, this is crazy.
He's such a weird guy.
Oh yeah, but he's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
After the most fights, so I was just jumping out when he ended his coming with Rastafari. When he signs off with that, it's just like with pure emotion. He's just like, where did that come from? But he's great. He's great. But yeah, so I mean, the fight itself. Beforehand, we were both saying, weren't we? We expected Eubank to win it. But I didn't expect the fight to be. I didn't expect it to go as it did.
I thought he would knock it. I thought he would knock Ben out. I thought the size difference would just come into play. And he would knock him out at some point. I didn't know whether that was. I didn't actually know whether that was going to be early or late, but I felt like he would knock him out.
Yeah, I thought there was a couple of options where, because you knew Ben was going to come out, because so you like that. He was up for this.
I didn't think he would come out firing on all cylinders like he'd. Everyone said he's going to come out for 4 rounds and go ballistic, and I thought, come on, man! Like Tony Sims is going to say, oh, don't do that. Like, you're going to need to pace yourself. And I just wasn't sure it was going to go that way. And that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, no, I was pretty convinced that was going to happen, but I didn't think. So this is why I thought Eubank would win, because I thought he'd come out, do that. But yeah, we spoke about this before. He's not this concussive puncher that we were saying, but people kind of making out. Like, he doesn't. His last 2 fights from the distance, and that weren't against the fighter who's at the level that the Junior's at, or size really. So you can really hate someone, but not be better than them. Like, and I don't doubt his
Yeah.
motivation, but I didn't think he had the ability or the size to do it. And that's not to be dismissive to Benn, because I think, as a fighter, I quite like him. I just think he just wasn't right. But he came out. I thought he wobbled him, didn't he? Wobbled Eubank a bit in the third, was it?
Yeah, you when we were texting, you felt like Ben had got the first two. I didn't
Yeah.
respond, but I didn't agree.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit. I quite like efficiency and effectiveness. So
Yes.
when Bivol fought Beterbiev, I prefer Bivol. Like I prefer his picky work where he's in and out. Picks a lot of people.
Not the busyness, not the busyness.
Yeah. So I also I really wanted Eubank to win so badly that I just couldn't separate that from what was. In fact, to be honest, right, as the fight went on, I found it quite a difficult fight to watch. To be honest, I know everyone's like, oh, it was so entertaining. I really felt like all that weight drain chat had sort of got me, and I'm thinking, these guys are hanging on too long, man. Someone's going to end up seriously. I really felt like someone was going to end up in hospital in a bad way.
Yeah, I agree with that. The back to what we were saying, like first round, second round. You saying you wanted Eubank to win so much. I just wanted to be right so much, so I probably saw what I thought was going to happen, which was Benn winning the first few, and then Eubank going away from it. But he did wobble him in the third, and then I thought he.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad though. I mean, what is great is because it's a Ring Magazine event. Turkey always puts on high def videos on YouTube of his thing, so you can watch that fight in 4K on YouTube for free now. Oh, and it's top quality. He did wobble in, but it wasn't that bad. I don't think it was that bad. He stumbled a little bit. I mean, I thought Eubank was blowing out after round one. He went back to his corner and was blowing out quite a lot.
Yeah, and then the weight, and you're thinking about all of that.
Yeah, and his legs didn't look great. They were already not looking great coming into round 3, 4.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a good Eubank in there. I don't. But he is cracking on.
Yeah, it was. He is. I think it's. He wasn't. You wouldn't say he was clinical or concussive, but I guess it was just a sheer heart. Wasn't it?
Oh, that was. Yeah,
they both went to places, didn't they? Like in that, I thought he'd go away from him from the fourth round on, and it sort of looked like he was gonna, and then he didn't. That eighth round.
It was the eighth round, wasn't it? It was the eighth round by Benn. Benn came back into it.
But Eubank wasn't. It was quality wise, was it a great fight? No, but as it could be a fight of the year. It's going to be a fight of the year contender.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah,
round 8 will be round of the year contender, because they just.
Well, I don't know. Maybe 12 will be round of it. I just felt
12. Yeah, I thought he was kind of done him in 12. I thought. I mean, Benn looked screwed. Eubank Jr., as we said, looked like Fraser.
By the end, he turned into Fraser Clark. His head
just got into
his head had swelled. What I was going to mention is about the shine on the head. Has Eubank had the transfer of hair? Because you can always tell a hair transfer because it's still shiny.
Well, I think it's one of those tattoos.
Yeah.
I think he's had it a few years, if he has.
Because it was a bit of a battle of the transplants, because Benn's had a beard transplant.
I didn't know that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a beard, which is the odd thing.
Well, he shaved it, didn't he? He had
it for a bit, but he generally doesn't have a beard anymore.
Yeah, well, that's gone. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is with beard transplants. That's not. Yeah, this one I need to look into that one. Goes every other than where you want it, right? But
I remember texting. I think it was round 9, and I said to you, I think Eubank's done. Yeah, he's got nothing left.
Yeah.
And you think round 9, it's still a long way to go from round 9.
Yeah,
a long way to go.
Again, especially you're thinking about the rehydration of the engine and what happened in Smith 1. Well, I don't know if that was like in round 4 or whether he got knocked out then, but you're like, can he live with it? Because Benn, expecting Benn to be gone, and he wouldn't go. He just kept on going.
There was, quite a few people going that Eubank seems to sort of he seems to be all right with Benn's power, but I still felt like he could have gone at any moment because Ben was just swinging wildly, wasn't he? He didn't.
He was. Yeah.
He didn't look great, didn't Ben? I don't think.
No,
I think
he'll come out of it with credit though, because he he lived with Eubank as much as Eubank lived with him.
yeah, he did. And I'll give him credit for the heart, but it's weird how similar they both are to their fathers in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
Because Nigel Benn to me was a big puncher.
Yeah.
Couldn't pace himself properly for a fight.
Just guts.
Yeah. Guts to get him through, and quite often he'd get taken apart when he was absolutely battered. I mean, Michael Watson knocked out Nigel Benn with a jab.
Yeah,
he was just that done.
Yeah.
I think even in Eubank 1, I think he was just done at that point. He was just totally done.
Yeah, and they both channeled their fathers, didn't they, in terms of that regard. So I think it'd be interesting actually if Senior wasn't there, because did Senior start wandering up to the corner like in the later rounds?
He went over at one point.
So he's not, and I wonder whether that, obviously Eubank Senior being there, whether that was planned from the off, and you can't.
Do you think it was?
I don't, but you can't rule it out. The reason I don't is because of the interview at the event in London. That was with Michael, wasn't it? Where he did the walk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when he was saying then and getting emotional about why the fight shouldn't happen, and you sort of handle it, he sort of got a point. I thought he was so opposed to it. And obviously after the first fight fell out of bed, and he was saying about how Eddie Hearn was trying to murder my son and all. You
know what though? I have heard someone say Eubank Senior. He's talking too much about this. It's like every day there was something else like about why, and it was like, you've made your point now, mate. I don't know if you need to make it every day. Yeah. So I don't know, but maybe I'm probably err on the side of what you're saying. I don't think it was planned, because I think they might have. I think it might have gone down a different way.
Yeah, I didn't, but I'm really glad it happened. Really glad. Yeah, and I think him being there in the later rounds just gave him that. If he wasn't there,
you don't know if Eubank would have won. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, and I think, which is annoying for Eubank Junior for all he's done to get out of his father's shadow, and he's kind of been his own man, and now here we are inadvertently accrediting Senior.
in the biggest moment in his big stadium fight.
Exactly. Yeah. His dad's coat is,
and his dad got out of the car first as well, like got out before him.
It was when they came out of the lift that he sort of just emerged, and he just sort of like around him like that. And it's like, it was so good. So
when the final bell rang, because I thought the commentary was very pro Benn. I was watching Sky. I felt it was very, very pro Benn, and admittedly, this happens quite a lot to me. I get a bit caught up with the commentary, and I'm thinking, oh, this is tight. I didn't think Ben had won. No way. I just felt those last few rounds, I thought Eubank was starting to run away a little bit, run away with it, and he's winning those rounds comfortably. You can't be losing like 10, 11, 12. You just can't.
No, I expected it to be a draw, if I'm honest with you. Watching it in real time, you can watch back and you can see the result, and all judges gave it the same. But just in terms of the way the fight felt, and maybe that was commentary as well, the way the fight felt in real time to me, plus knowing that a rematch has already been announced by Ben Shalom on the Thursday or whatever, you're like, well, this is just all set up for a draw. If they gave a draw, I don't think anyone's screaming that it's a travesty. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, when I saw the Podge stats after the fight,
okay, yeah,
I mean, Eubank outpunching Ben in every single round.
So the judges got it right. The judges got it right. Is that?
Yeah, I think
they got it. Or they all saw it the same as well, which is quite rare.
It's quite rare. Yeah, it's quite rare for them to read out all the scores the same. The only thing that I kind of felt, Eubank was obviously out of it after the fight, and his interview, he seemed out of it for his interview. I mean, obviously, Ben was a bit more together, and it kind of feels like Eubank hasn't had his moment yet from it.
No, he hasn't, has he? It's weird though, to be just a slight aside. The fact they do interview.
Oh, it's insane! It's insane. It should be banned. That it should be banned. Like, the thing is, they don't ever say anything revealing anyway. You know, they say exactly what you're going to expect them to say.
Well, they're going to thank God a lot of the time, or someone, and they're going to give respect to the other fighter. Or if you get really lucky, they'll completely lose the plot like AJ, and you get something interesting. But again, that when I'm thinking about it, it makes absolute sense that you're gonna you're not gonna lose the plot then when it's like it's
and you know what, I don't think they should do it, but I also don't think you should sort of batter people where they go mental. Partly because I find it funny. Like it's
exactly
funny.
That's it. It's
like Happy New Year is a great moment, isn't it? Happy New Year, Fury.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. But yeah, I think it's mad that they do that. But anyway, I thought Ben came across well in losing. That said, he was very.
He did. The only thing I thought is they didn't see each other, did they? At the end of the fight, they didn't go over to each other or anything like that.
Embrace. I don't remember. But he came across well, as did Nigel Benn, which Nigel Benn always sort of does, really. I think, like he's honest, where he comes across well, but he seems.
Yeah. He's not. I hate to say it, but neither of them are smart.
No.
Nigel Benn's not smart enough to sort of be dishonest, I don't think.
No, exactly. Yeah, maybe that's it. But I did think it was a very honest assessment from Conor Benn.
It looked to me like he knew he'd lost that fight.
He accepted it.
Yeah.
Accepted it, which again, given what happened with Egggate and all of that, I didn't expect him to accept it.
No.
So maybe
you could
eat loads of eggs then. Maybe he is as honest.
Didn't eat loads of eggs. Like I was listening to something, maybe it was earlier on, and they said what he needs to do is just come out and say, this is what I did regarding the drug thing. I ate a load of contaminated beef or whatever. And I was like, well, it makes sense if you haven't just taken illegal drugs. Because I did take a load of illegal drugs. You never say that. It doesn't. You get punished. You get punished more in sport, right, for admitting that you did it than you do just making up a lie. Making up a lie is the best thing you can do. He needs to be better than eggs. He needs to be better than eggs.
Yeah. He needs to be slightly believable. But Big Baby Miller, he's done it a few times. Well, he's obviously doped out many times, but he's just fronted up like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I was cheating. What I was doing there was trying to give myself a better chance of winning. But the bit. So I don't know. Yeah, I thought he was going to get him in the 12th as well, but he didn't. I had a bet on a knockout, so I was kind of a bit.
Okay. Ben was. What was he? 20 seconds away from getting sent to the canvas. Yeah,
and that would have been sort of like the perfect ending because it would have been conclusive. Yeah, and I thought he was going to come, but anyway. So yeah, I guess I don't know, man. It's what the question is what next for each of them, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think the rematch will happen? Like, do you want the rematch to happen? Let's start with that.
No, this is weird because I don't. But in the same breath, if you'd asked me at whatever 11:30 or midnight on Saturday, yeah, I want that again.
So why don't you want? I've got a very specific reason.
So I don't because I think it's wrong for both of them. I think that Ben's come out of it with credit. I think as a fighter, I think if he drops down to his natural weight, I think he's ranked. He could get a shot at a world title relatively quickly. His profile's built as well, and I think he can get that, and I think that's best for his career. With Junior, I think that he's wanted Canelo for years, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of routes. He either goes for a money fight or a legacy fight.
Is Canelo's both though, isn't he?
Oh
Potentially.
yes, yeah, yeah. I realised that as I said it. Also, as is Ben again, to be fair, but
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
legacy, I mean, like, as in a pure boxing legacy, Canelo's all of it. But he could make like the name. I sort of jokingly said it to my mate I was watching it with, and I'm hearing it said, and I don't want it to be the case, but I can't blame if it is. Is he going to do like a Jake Paul or whatever or someone like that? And I don't want him to do that.
Thing is, Jake Paul's last fight was Mike Tyson, so he's got to be hitting 15 stone for that fight. So Jake Paul would have to
Yeah,
shed 3 stone for that fight to happen.
if it's Jake Paul professional now, would it actually be a sanctioned fight? I don't know whether they'd find like a catch fight.
I don't know. I don't want the rematch to happen. Firstly, because I don't want Eubank to get beat. I just think let's leave the legacy as the Eubanks won. They beat the Benns. Like,
Yeah,
just leave it at that. And I felt like they needed a good 10 months to get the fight on again if it's going to happen. But the word is September if it's going to happen, which seems insane to me.
I don't. Well, I guess they need to go close so they stay at the weight.
Yeah, but then I don't think it's the right fight for both fighters anyway. I think Ben just needs to get on with his career, man. He really does. Like, he's got to get on with his career. Chris Eubank Jr., he's done it. He's beaten Ben. I think, like, I kind of feel it's a shame that he didn't win a world title, Chris Eubank Jr. And I think get Canelo over here.
You're not including the IBO.
No, I'm definitely not including the IPO.
He's done it like 3 times, hasn't he? I think he's
Yeah, his trainer was banging on about how it's definitely a legit world title and stuff, and so I'm like, it isn't. But I think have a go at Canelo. Like, I don't think he beats Canelo, but Canelo's getting old too. I mean, he's a touch younger than
does he get him exactly the right point?
Well, he's a little bit younger than Eubank, but he's had a lot of fights. He's like, he's 50 plus, isn't he? So he's done 20 more fights than Eubank. And he's been boxing forever. So I don't think Eubank beats him, but get him over here. Like, what's he fought? 8 Brits. He's beaten 8 Brits as Canelo. Get him over here in a massive stadium fight.
Yeah, you get Wembley Stadium. Eubank Junior's, his star, he's in the ascendancy. He's hot right now. So you get him over, be quite a partisan crowd as well. But also the boxing fans would just love Canelo as well being over. He's not fought over it, has he?
No, he's never fought over here. And he's got a lot of bodies on his record from Britain. And also, like, if Eubank has one more go at a world title and loses, nobody cares, man. Nobody cares.
Exactly. Well, he's kind of the legacy point again is sort of cemented in terms of the fact that the collective legacy of Eubank and Benn by Saturday night. So it's almost a free hit, a very lucrative one, and it's everything he wants. And I'd love to see that. I'd love to see.
I think it'd be great. Canelo should be. It's a bit like Messi, though, isn't it? When everyone's like, "Oh, Messi's got to come and play in England," and he never did. I think Canelo's he's just not gonna do it.
I'd love to see it though. So the thing about the potential fight between Eubank Jr. and Canelo is in the next week that'll gain momentum depending on what happens in the fight. I don't know, is it Saturday night? The Cinco de Mayo fight, Canelo versus William Skull, after Nigel Benn said what he said about William Skull in the press conference, because that.
And what he basically said that his son gave him a bit of a beating.
Well, he said he made him quit, right? Was that effectively it? He
said, yeah.
The quit in sparring. Now, I've seen an interview with William Skull since via interpreters and all of that. But he basically, he was like, I was at a different stage. He hasn't denied it, really. He said he had a couple of rounds, I had a couple of rounds. But there's something in it, I think. There's something in it. So
it's weird though, because William Skull is a super middleweight, so he'll be even heavier than what Eubank was.
Well, this is the point. This is the point that Ben was trying to make, and he went into such detail about it. It couldn't be bullshit because you can't go into that level of detail and name a fighter. I don't think, really, unless there's something.
I don't know if. Do you not think Martin Bakoli sort of opened the floodgates on, like, just saying anything about anyone in sparring? Because Martin Bakoli has knocked. He's knocked out Muhammad Ali in sparring.
He did, a couple of times, actually. A couple of times. He retired him, famously. But
But also fighting this weekend, Martin Bakole as well.
Yes, is he on the undercard of that fight?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
No, good for him to get out. Hopefully, he's had a bit more training this time.
And I hope he's got a new pair of shorts, because those shorts he wore against who did he fight?
Parker.
Yeah, Joseph Parker. Like he'd got him out of lost property.
It was school. You've shown up to school.
Forgot your shorts.
It's like a lot of those nightmares you have when you're back in school. You're like in your 40s as a man, but you're back at school in your pajamas and like your homework's late. And that was always like you're just showing up in this boxing ring, and now you're gonna have to wear them, mate.
Do you reckon he actually had a proper pair of shorts? But when he comes to put them on, like after Christmas and that, you've piled on the pounds and you're like, they're a little bit tight. Do you reckon they're just, look, these are the only ones we've got, Martin?
I think so. They were just lying around. His Excellency had them on the wall somewhere from like Potterbean or something like that.
I'm not going to ever call him His Excellency.
Oh, I will. Yeah,
Turkey.
No, I've clocked you've done that a few times. Quite disrespectful, and I'd like to. No,
how is nobody mentioning this? It's just a guy. Why do you have to call him His Excellency?
It's fantastic.
It's not royalty. It's not royalty.
No, he's just excellent, I guess. I don't know. We didn't do an introduction at the start, but I feel like if we had in retrospect, I'd try and give myself a name like that.
But you could try, but nobody ever makes it stick except for Turkey.
But I've actually heard an interview with White and Jordan where he was like saying, actually, I don't. He was almost saying I'm a bit embarrassed. Like I don't want this, but yeah.
Bollocks. Well, that's exactly what you'd say if you started your own nickname and then tried to convince people that you hadn't started your own nickname.
Oh yeah.
Bollocks. He's written that into every contract ever. There's fighters, right, that just will talk shit about anybody, right, and show nobody any respect, and they still say thanks to His Excellency.
Do you know what? We missed that out earlier when we were saying about interviews, post-fight interviews, and His Excellency always gets mentioned as well. Regardless of how many times you've been hit around the head, you don't forget His Excellency.
yeah.
But yeah, so depending on what happens anyway with Canelo and
Skull, depending on what happens, Skull, he's going to get beat. Like, there's just no two ways about it. There's no two ways.
When he gets beaten. If he gets beaten easily, then it's a case of.
Have you ever seen William Skull box?
No, but I heard he got beaten in sparring by Conor.
I've never seen him box. He hasn't got any names. He hasn't got any names on his record.
I think there's now a link between him. Him and Eubank now through the things that Nigel Benn mentioned, and I think that's going to play in because
because if Canelo doesn't make William Skull quit, Eubank can say, "Well, I beat the guy."
Yeah, I beat the guy. You beat the guy. Yeah, exactly. I beat the guy. I beat the guy.
It's sort of the lineal victor there.
Yeah. The lineal beater of William Skull. But it legitimizes further, I think, Eubank Jr.'s shot at Canelo.
I think with Canelo, like as well, who does he fight after William Skull? He's never going to fight Benavidez. That's obvious now. I think Benavidez not moved up anyway now. I think he's moved up weight anyway.
Was there talk about Crawford?
Yeah, there was. I feel like I'm not really bothered about seeing Crawford. I don't. Part of the reason I wasn't massively into the Benn Eubank thing is I don't understand this sort of jumping up stupid weights.
No, not why
for fights.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, so
the thing with the Benn Eubank one is it was now or never because Eubank's getting too old. Ben's just upcoming, and if you don't do it soon, there's just no chance to ever do it. So I can kind of understand them making the fight. Also because money talks and stuff, but like Crawford Canelo, it's just not the same.
No, it's not. I'd watch it. But it's one of those. But like, I mean, when Eubank and Benn was made, I was like, nah, circus.
Yeah, but you're always going to watch them though. You're always going to watch. I mean, I watched bloody Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. So God knows why I watched that, but
I didn't on that one. But I watched the Conor McGregor versus Mayweather.
Like, oh yeah.
I paid for it.
Is that not that is is that not the pay-per-view record holder? That one, I think.
Yeah, probably.
It's either number 1 or 2. That I think.
It's mad, isn't it? But when there's a no contest, like it can only be a no contest. And in the week up to, I'm like, well, it's not good. How can the guy who's like one of the best ever at not getting hit be hit by the bloke who's only claiming it, who's not who's not a professional person at hitting people?
Yeah.
Claim is, I'll hit him once and that'll do it. Like it's like I bought that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think that's where I'd like to see Eubank Junior go next.
Okay, well, let's moving on. Let's go on to this weekend's boxing. So it's a bit of a weird one because Friday night there's fights, and it's all it's all America, isn't it? This weekend. You know what? American boxing. Do you care about American boxing?
Nah, not really.
It's really interesting. The time problem, not having to get up at 4 a.m. for big fights.
The Saudis have made it. The Saudis have spoiled us, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because big fights now are really easy for us. So I'll be honest, I'm more detached from the US fighters than I was.
I am big time.
I was watching Box Nation during the night, and then you know all the up and coming ones, and and all the US fighters. But
the thought of getting up at 4 a.m. as well. Like I sort of got to the point where I'd do it for the really big fights.
Yeah,
but like you sort of average fights.
I think the last one might have been. Did Canelo fight? Who did he fight most recently? Was it Cam Smith or Billy Joe? I think I got up for.
You know what? I don't know. It must have been Billy Joe. Oh, mind you, Billy Joe. No, is that like 4 years ago or something? Now it's ages ago, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last one of those was the last one I got up for. But yeah. I'm not that fussed about US fights, to be fair.
No, so obviously, well, we'll just cover it quickly. You've got Ryan Garcia's back with Devin Haney on the undercard, so that this is it's like that that fight where it's like that card where Wilder and Joshua were on the same card but not fighting each other. It's like
It was when they fought, wasn't this one where he came in over the weight, so it couldn't be for the title, and then he battered him. And then he came out that he'd been juicing as well. That's right.
Right. So Garcia, this is his first fight back.
Yeah.
And Devin Haney's on the card, so supposedly this is just like warm ups for them both. While
see off that, get him in the ring afterwards. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because Ryan Garcia is like a sort of social media box. I'm not saying he's a YouTuber, but just he's.
It's not quite. He's not Misfits, but
he's not quite. He's got that following. So
yeah,
isn't me. So I kind of I don't know. And then what happened in the last fight? I was just like, it just seems like a bit of a dick. Just not for me.
All right then. Okay, I'm with you on that. I've sort of lost my way with the Americans, which is where Eddie Earn seems to spend most of his time these days as well. But we have got what do you think is going to happen with Bakoli? So it's Bakoli or Jagba. Obviously Bakoli. I'm calling it. It was pathetic. He was pathetic against Parker.
Well, yeah, he was the classic president of the Who Needs Them Society, right? And it turns out Joseph Parker was like, "Yeah, I'll have you." I need to, and sort of killed that. But obviously, it was very short notice.
Traveling was like a big thing, wasn't it? It took him about 15 planes to get there and stuff.
I think he needs to make a statement, right? Early finish. He needs to.
But I mean. Can he make a statement against the Jagba? Like,
I don't know. I think he needs to.
But I mean, is a Jagba good enough to be able to make a statement with?
You're talking like, what was it? Who was the bloke? Was it Deontay Wilder against not Charles Martin? The guy who took him the distance, and then the second time he fought him.
But was it Bermain Stavern?
Yeah, yes, of course. So he needs a knockout like that within like seconds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that's what he needs. That's what he needs. So like a statement that's like, okay, all right, that was done. You've blown away the cobwebs. This is how you hit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
He needs something like that. If it goes beyond like 3 rounds, seriously, he's it's not looking great. They'll make fights, well, but But actually, do you know what? Maybe he does need to go the distance, and then he's completely not the who needs him, and then someone does take him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much of a place he's got. Like, the myth around Piccoli was absolutely wild.
Yeah,
It's weird how you keep getting these fighters where it's like, oh, they're gonna absolutely tear it up. I mean, it's not that long back. It was Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce was like, oh yeah,
This is, do you know, it's funny you mentioned Joe Joyce because I was thinking that's the kind of fight that he goes into if he doesn't make a statement. Like,
I mean,
just,
can you imagine?
but that's a classic. That's a who needs it in terms of like who wants that. But
Yeah,
they both people who need a fight to get up, get towards I don't know where you go after that. If they fight and beat whoever wins that, where do they go?
yeah. Well, then,
Or versus Miller? Do they even get that high? I don't know.
and I think Miller's going to beat Wardley as well.
No, we'll chat about that in the run up.
So, I mean, what about the other big announcement then?
Well, this is where I want to break something to you. So you hadn't seen it. I don't know if you've seen this as well. So Dubois Usyk.
Right. Okay. So before you go, I'll tell you what I know about that because they've been talking about it for ages, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's been sort of like said it's going to happen, but as people have been saying, Joseph Parker, what's going on with Joseph Parker? And then I think a different fight's been ordered as well. What was it? Chisora. It was Dubois Chisora that got ordered as well. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? But I know that fight's signed now, but that's all I know.
Yeah. So Usyk Dubois is announced, but that's not it. So if you remember what was the February 22nd card, Bivol Beterbiev 2, where Parker was meant to fight Dubois, and the press conference for that happened on 13th of January, which was the date that Tyson Fury announced his retirement. Do you remember? The whole boxing world was gathered there for the press conference, and Tyson Fury goes, "No, let's make this about me."
Yeah, which he always does. Yeah.
So today, Usyk and Dubois announced, their rematch, and then about 2 hours ago, on his Instagram stories, there's a picture. There's Tyson Fury saying, "Oh, you never guess who I'm with." Hands across, Sugar Hill Steward's there, and he's like, "We're back. You know what this means. You know what's coming." I mean, it cuts. You're like,
bloody hell! I did not know that.
So yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm all willing to wanting to chat about the Warren Usyk, but Tyson Fury's kind of done what Tyson Fury does, and
also that doesn't mean that Tyson Fury's coming back because he could just do total bullshit.
Of course not. But it's a bit of attention, isn't it? It's a bit of attention.
Yeah.
And his nose was probably put a bit out of joint by Senior getting so much attention. Just anyone is like, "Oh, I need a bit. I miss that. It's like that'll mean you go in there and you make this about you." So he's done that. So that'll be interesting to see because maybe he's then positioning himself for the winner because he'll just come back of Usyk. And
surely he's coming back for the Joshua fight. Surely he is. Joshua, mysterious injury that stopped him being able to fight anyone else.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's another one. Sure, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's like, oh, Benn Eubank isn't a title fight. It isn't two of the best fighters, but look at the spectacle and look at the way it's gone down. Joshua and Fury must have been looking at that going.
But it's a classic. As you mentioned, Joshua there, my reaction was the same as it was to Benn Eubank. Where I'm like, nah, if it's not for anything, am I bothered? Yeah, I'd absolutely be.
It'd be a monster. It'd still be a monster, that fight.
It would be. Yeah. But Usyk Dubois is going to be an interesting fight. You really like Dubois, right?
I don't like Dubois.
You know what? I thought you did. I thought he was your man in there.
No, I said I think he might be able to beat him, but I don't like him. He's an idiot.
I like that. I like it because today he was in his big suit. He's there like I love it when he gets dressed up in his suit.
See, what about Dubois when he wore the leggings and the dinner jacket?
Yeah, no, he's wearing like this sort of baby blue. No, baby. Sorry, Usyk's wearing like a baby blue tracksuit. Looks cool. Looks like Usyk, and Dubois there in his sort of like his suit that he has for weddings, funerals.
But don't you like Dubois? It gets let off with like quite a lot. right? Because he's an idiot. Like people let him off with quite a lot. So when he was fighting Big Baby Miller, and Big Baby Miller, obviously one of the best people on mic you can get,
Yeah,
was just wrapping him in knots all the time. When Dubois said something like, "Every baby needs a daddy, and I'm going to beat you like a daddy," or something like that, and everyone's like, "Way!" And I'm like, "Bloody hell, man!" He's been practicing that line for 30 minutes behind waiting, and he said nothing else because all he ever does is he comes out and he goes, "I'm ready to go." Ready to go. They've done a few press conferences with Dubois, and it's like literally been the start of the press conference. They go, "Daniel, what do you think is going to happen?" And he'll go, "Let's do it. Ready to go." And I don't want any more questions. And I think the press conference has started.
I'm just gonna, he did that today on TalkSport. So I'm just gonna, and Jim might say, "Hey, they're not gonna." so, yeah, no, I do know what you mean.
I think it can beat Usyk. I do think it can beat Usyk.
Well,
but I've still got major reservations about Dubois, and it's because of that Kevin Lorena fight that got swept under the carpet. Nobody ever mentions that. He got
How long ago was that? Not to dismiss the relevance of it, but it was mad. It was mad.
It's not that long ago.
Is it not? No, it's easy. But how long was he down for? Because
he went down 3 times. So he went down 3 times in the first round. It seems to be like he had some kind of ankle problem as well. Because he elected to go down again. It was at least one of them.
Which was one of his things. That used to be his thing, didn't it?
Well, it is his thing. I still can't get on it. He got knocked out by a jab by Usyk. Obviously, the orbital bone problem against Joyce. And then he went down on one knee against Lorena. It's a lot for one fighter. It's a lot.
But he does seem to have shown this still more recently.
Yeah, he does. I suppose you can't take away the beating of Joshua, I suppose.
Joshua was a statement. I was surprised by it. I was really surprised by that.
It's a shame. It is a shame we haven't seen him fight Parker. That's the problem. Because I think Joshua, I don't know. Nobody knows where Joshua's at. He's obviously looking past it. Big Baby Miller, he's just a big lump, isn't he? Like nobody can knock Big Baby Miller down. Like nobody's put him down, I don't think.
No. But yeah,
I could easily see it going the same way that the first fight went, where I thought, to be honest with you, I thought Usyk battered him. I thought he absolutely ran rings around him.
He did, but Dubois did well. Dubois had his moments in that fight, not just the knockdown.
He did, but he was still basically losing every single round. It's one of those fights where it's sort of, they can be quite close.
You're right.
They can be quite close.
But that's how good Usyk is. That's how good Usyk is, I think. That you can... I think Dubois came out of credit, and you're absolutely right. He probably lost, if not every minute of every round, like certainly...
He caught him. He did catch him a few times, but it's just... He did that thing that he did to Bellew, really, where he just overwhelms... Eventually, just get overwhelmed with his just non-stop moving, non-stop hitting you, getting through. And eventually...
He just learns. He learns during the fight, doesn't he? So
and if you haven't got the will, you're not getting to the end of the fight with him, because
the thing. So if you look at it, he fought Fury twice, and arguably better the second time. And Joshua, the second time against Joshua was a lot better. So Usyk had to be better, and it was a different Joshua in that second fight as well, wasn't it? So he had to live with him, and he learned, and he always does. He gets better the more experience he has with you.
Why don't you think Fury or Joshua, who've had 2 fights with Usyk each, why didn't either of them try and knock him out? I know that sounds like the most basic question.
Well,
I mean, I suppose Joshua did have a go at one point.
Joshua did, and this is the thing that's interesting, actually, about the referee. So I was looking at this earlier. So the referee, when Usyk went down against with the low blow with Dubois, so referee Luis Pabon from Puerto Rico, and he was also the referee because Joshua hit him low, and he went down, and he took time as well, but that was given as a low blow rather than a knock. And so I found it fascinating that was the same referee, but there does seem to be, but that's his delicate spot if you can get there. And my assumption, he's just going to
He does like a complaint, though. He does like a
He does.
complaint, does
He
Usyk?
does. But that's his complaint. So I'm assuming if he does have a chink in his armor, it's around the body. So
Is it just because he's little though, and he's fighting giants?
he's not that little.
I suppose he's not. He's not that little. He just looks small compared to those guys.
He does, but also you see him. You kind of when someone goes up from cruiser to heavyweight, you still sort of think him a smaller, but he's obviously
Yeah, he's not. He's not actually, is he? Not.
So I think it's going to be hard. Dubois has to try and knock him out because, well, he's not going to outbox him.
No, he's not.
Fury arguably.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did try and knock him out. I felt like he tried to outbox him.
Fury arguably could have out. If you're Fury going into that fight, you probably think, right, I could outbox him.
Yeah, true.
Versus a good small guy. He's now a small guy now, suits me. But I can't see how Dubois does it other than taking him out.
He can't. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't.
You'd have to try and get him early.
Do what he did to Joshua.
Yeah, exactly that. Hopefully, he can walk him onto one. And if that happens, then Usyk goes, and then we'll see. See what happens.
When is that fight? Is it
July? July 22nd, 27th of July, I think. Not sure the exact date, but it's in July.
Last question then before we finish up.
Yeah.
Do you think Dubois was ill for the Parker fight?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? I can't remember who it was who was saying. I'd heard that he often gets ill before fights.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, but it did sort of go quiet, didn't it? Nothing was really explained.
Very quiet, and it's like if you had a lie, right? Let's say you, I don't know. Let's say you've robbed a bank, right?
Yeah, no, I've got.
No, you haven't. Let's pretend you have, right? And you've got £1 million in a suitcase, a couple of suitcases stashed away, right? Lovely. And the only other person that knows is Daniel Dubois, right? What are you doing with Daniel Dubois?
Yeah, nothing. He's not saying, is he?
You don't think he's going to say anything? I think you lock him away. I think he's just going to blab it immediately. I don't think he's got the mental capacity to retain that information. And
I think he'd forget it as soon as it's gone in. I would. I'd be like, I think that'd be the safe. In fact, I think that'd be the safest thing.
Well, the point I was trying to make is,
I'd compare. Sorry,
I don't think they let him go anywhere near any interview because he'd have fucked it right up and said, "No, I wasn't ill."
I thought he'd just be like, I think he'd be great. Like, I'd go to him to confess. Yeah, I'd go to the Church of Dubois, just tell him every bad thing I've ever done. And he'd just be like, I think just like something going on. So yeah,
it's like if they actually got the interview. Daniel, obviously, you're ill, but thanks for giving us a little bit of time. So it's obviously disappointing you can't fight Joseph Parker. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. I think he is. But yeah.
So we'll wrap that one up here then, I think.
Yeah. No, good, mate.